John Carpenter's The Thing, a remake of 1951's The Thing from Another World, was not met with critical acclaim at the time of its release. Renowned film critic Roger Ebert states in his review of the film, "It seems clear that Carpenter made his choice early on to concentrate on the special effects and the technology and to allow the story and people to become secondary." Although many would agree that the film has made effective use of practical effects, present audiences may disagree about the story and characters being secondary. Despite its initial critical struggle, the film is considered a classic of the sci-fi and horror genres. The Thing focuses on an American research facility in Antarctica. The workers at the facility have their mundane schedules disrupted when a helicopter swings by chasing down a dog being shot at by with a rifle. A Norwegian summarizes the threat the dog carries, but is shot and killed in self-defense, as the Americans were unaware of his intentions. However, the Norwegian's warnings do foreshadow a dreadful and terrifying threat that these researchers have never encountered before. Some alien being in the form of an infection, a complete takeover of cells in the body that attempt to control, contort, mutate, and replicate the being it takes over. It is a sickness like no other. Ennio Morricone provides an atmospheric, slow, and minimalist score that is very appropriate for the film's tone. It reflects the lingering disturbances that are to later reveal themselves as the American researchers discover more little by little with each encounter of the dreaded Thing. The central characters are developed in a way that, the more they understand the Thing, the more they come to distrust each other. MacReady is believed to be infected as he goes missing and an attempt was made to burn his uniform. Blair is not trusted as he has a complete meltdown and, as he is kept in isolation, he seems to busy himself with creating a UFO-like machine, and as certain members of the team become infected, a lack of trust forms around the people closest to the infected. Each character has a motivation and irrational reasoning for mistrusting their colleagues, and as paranoia develops, so does the film's tension and atmosphere. A distinctive, unsettling moment of tension focusing on the characters' mistrust of one another comes in the form of MacReady's blood test. He tests a sample of everyone's blood, including his own, to prove who is the Thing and who isn't. It helps to wipe the slate clean temporarily for the characters not infected, helping to build up trust again, but before the scene's chaotic resolution, the discovery of someone with the infection, the tension is heavy and speculation flies with the characters, and likely the audience too, about who is infected or not. MacReady's idea of the blood test is a clever solution to the obstacle of discovering who the Thing has affected, and it reveals a lot about the intelligence of MacReady's character. Kurt Russell provides one of his best performances as MacReady, a researcher who is forced into a position of leadership, and even when everyone is skeptical of his abilities and influences, he manages to stay a few steps ahead of his colleagues. Keith David's Childs provides an intelligent adversary to MacReady. He never fully trusts him, but is willing to follow his orders to a certain extent. He is the closest character to come and rival MacReady's leadership. Keith David's performance portrays the character effectively, with his frustrations and concerns aimed at MacReady and whether the Thing has got to him or not. The ending of the film is also highly speculated over. MacReady and Childs are the only survivors as their camp is burning down, their last resort attempt of being rid of the Thing. However, both characters clearly mistrust each other as one has been out of the eyesight of the other for too long. Is one of them infected or not? Has the Thing survived? After all the efforts of the characters that happened before this conclusion, this ending is likely to linger with the audience long after the film has finished. Were the characters' efforts all for nothing, or will the Thing die with MacReady and Childs? What happens if their base is to be discovered? Does the whole cycle begin again, starting with the Norwegian camp, continuing with the Americans, and ending with whoever comes next? Rob Bottin's practical effects, 23 years old at the time of filming, are gorgeously grotesque, reminiscent of some of the most eldritch creations of a Lovecraftian tale. Highlights include the transformation of a dog into a crawling, tendril-laden, skull-opening, tongue-flower-having, spewing grotesquerie, or the defibrillator sequence that transforms a cadaver into some elongated, contorted neck creature, eventually causing a head to decapitate and develop arachnid-like legs. These creations are madness, something terrifying that is unlikely to have been imagined before. The initial criticism of the violence and effects in the film, seen as gratuitous, seems unfair. Would these monstrosities be as unsettling if the visual effects weren't allowed to become so far-fetched and otherworldly. In conclusion, the film manages to effectively succeed in depicting spectacle with its brilliant practical effects and developing a lingering tension and atmosphere that impacts the characters, making them react and overcome obstacles in unique ways. From Macready's blood test to the outdoor burning of everything the researchers understand to be infected. It is unfortunate that critics were unkind to the film at the time, criticising its use of effects and undermining the characters, but over time that initial response has not hurt the film, as it found an audience through home video platforms and is now considered a classic by filmmakers, critics and audiences alike.